Before we start our writing lesson for today, let's review our objectives. I can revise my writing by adding more to it. I can revise my writing by drawing more pictures and words in a small group. Writers, welcome. Come and join me. All right, as you are coming to join me, I would like for you to bring your writing from yesterday that you started. If you need to, pause the video and go get your writing. Okay, friends, so remember yesterday we talked that you, yes, you, are a writer. Did any of you tell anyone around you that you're a writer? I hope you did. Now, let's think about yesterday. What did you learn that writers do? What do writers do? That's right. Writers think about what they know and they put it down on paper. They draw what they know and they also add words to show what they are writing. Now, today, I would like to teach you that when writers put something down on paper, they don't just stop and say, I'm done. That's not what they do. Do you know what writers do? They work to revise. Do you know what that word is? Revise. It's a fancy word for adding more to your writing. Because there's a saying that writers say. Would you like to hear it? When you think you're done, you've only just begun. I am going to show you what that looks like with my writing today, and then you get to try it out. And right now, friends, we are in something called the mini lesson. And you might be asking yourself, what is a mini lesson? Well, a mini lesson is where you come together with me, and I will teach you all the things that you need to know. When it's time for you to practice, you will be able to put your thoughts down. So this is the time for you to be paying attention. You don't need anything in your hands to distract you, but let's pay attention so that we can learn and be the best writers that we can be. Okay, let me show you my paper. Do you remember the fancy word that I said that we were going to practice today? We are going to revise. So this is me revising my work from yesterday. The first thing that I need to do is I need to reread what I wrote about. Here is a picture of my tomato plant with my pole that holds my tomatoes up, and I have my green ribbon that I tie around my tomato plant. Beside that tomato plant, I have my other tomato plant that I've had for a long time, since the beginning of the season. This tomato has more leaves, more tomatoes, and it's surrounded by a cage. My garden is in my flower bed right by my fence. Now I'm looking, and this is something that I didn't notice yesterday. I have a lot of space in my writing, and I didn't really pay attention to that yesterday. I can be adding more details to my writing. Oh my goodness, friends, you know what I just thought of? There's something that happened last week. I was in my garden and I was looking at this tomato plant right here. And you know what I noticed? This is a true story, I promise you. There was a tomato And these tomatoes, since they're growing right now, they're green. There was a tomato, and it was right about here, that looked like this. Let me show you. There was a chunk taken out of my tomato. There are things that are about this color of green that hang under tomato leaves. They're called tomato worms. That tomato worm was underneath my leaf, and it was taking a chunk out of my tomato. So you know what I had to do? I had to help get rid of it. So I have a bucket of water that sits beside my tomato plant. So if I have any of those pesky worms, I can get rid of them quickly. Now, I talked about my fence yesterday. I can add more details there. My fence is brown, and there are wooden pieces that look like this, that go all along the fence. Now there's something else that I could add to my garden. Do you want to know what it is? I have another plant. My plant is called a hosta, and it looks like this. It's big and green. It actually has lots of different parts to it, and they stick up in all directions. And writers, you know what? I am so excited about writing that I can just keep adding more and more details. But that's not why we're here. We're not here just to watch Mrs. Doss add more to her writing by revising. You need to go out and add more writing to your piece that you started yesterday. Now, if you remember, I asked you at the very beginning of our lesson to bring that writing piece with you. I want you to get it out just like I am right now. And I want you to look at it. I would like for you to reread your writing. So remember like what I did. Here's my tomato plant with the pole and the green ribbon. Go through and reread. And you get to make the decision. What more can I add to my writing? Before I send you on your way to write, I wanted to share with you a chart that I just made. This chart says, when we are done, we have just begun. And that's what we talked about today. When we are revising, this is what we can be doing. We can add to our pictures, just like I showed you. You can add to your words that you wrote down. And if you've done both of those things, and you really think that there's nothing more that you can add to your writing, then you can start a new piece and write about something else that you know a lot about. Okay, writers, go ahead and get started. Work on revising or making your writing even better. I'll see you next time.